Welcome to the final 9, round 2 of the 2023 Highland Open. I am joined by Adrian Chevalier, and we are here to watch these competitors grind out the hardest 9 holes of this course. Hole 10, uphill, plays harder than you would expect because of the out of bounds. For a 200-foot hole, there were not nearly as many birdies as you'd expect. Ceiling comes into play. Chris Reliford going for the forehand play. Is that your yarn?
This is my yarn again. First round, Robert told me to throw a driver soft on the left side, so I decided to not listen to him and give myself a OB.
Yeah, this is what happens. When you don't listen to the course designer, things always go wrong.
Yeah. I have absolutely no recollection of going OB there, honestly. Had going Draco. Going
a little bit too much disc, playing for the fade, and he just goes out of bounds by about 2 inches. It was almost the perfect play. Yeah, this really is forehand play. Overstable mid works really well. Overstable fairway driver works well. That's a zone from Collin.
That was Collin's gator, actually.
Was it a gator? Okay. Not as many people throwing those these days. A great disc.
Yeah, he likes the forehand gator. I don't.
Chris. And that is the problem when you run a spin putt hard with OB behind the basket. And that's part of why this hole played so hard. It's right in front of you, but just things can happen.
I'm looking to clean up my par here. Unfortunate to go OB, but
no problem. Cleaned it up. You can walk away. This hole has kind of been a nemesis of yours.
Yeah, with how I putt, and most of the putts you're going to be looking at the OB, so it's kind of scary.
Tad cleaning up his par as well. Collin with the best look of birdie.
Collin just recently switched his putting putter.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's probably why. I thought for sure he was good for that one. What's he putting with now?
He's putting with PA3s in this
okay.
in this footage. He was putting with Magics for his entire disc golf career. Oh, and Chris.
That's an unexpected miss. That caught all kinds of chain. There's no reason that needed to fall out. And just like that, double bogey. And now your lead is all the way to 5 strokes. Hole 11, 6th hardest, playing just over par, 610 feet. The drive, you can kind of do anything you want as long as you keep it in bounds. The tough part is the second shot. This basket is surrounded by a lake on the right and a sidewalk on the left. So you want to get as far as you can to make that second shot as easy as possible. All right, so you're going Destroyer here.
This is my gold crute you mentioned.
Oh, you
it's
can
a little
never
more
tell.
stable, a little safer, and it's out there.
There you go. Plenty well up the fairway. You should have some options.
Oh boy! Very low out of Tad.
Yeah, you can't see it here, but he caught all kinds of trouble. He's still in bounds, but he did not go nearly as far as what you'd like. Collin, Thompson. I'm guessing Destroyer.
Pretty good guess.
And that is ripped. No fear of out of bounds. Ooh, and he's up there. He's probably at least 50 feet past where you threw.
Looks like Collin had the gumption to go some turn there. I do not have such gumption.
It's fun to throw super far. Sometimes it's better to throw safe. This is a rip out of Chris also.
Good shot, man.
That is smashed.
That is just murdered.
That's that double bogey. It's
All well and good. Here's Tad out on the fairway.
oh boy.
This is a very scary green to approach. I do not blame Tad for just playing a safe hyzer.
Yeah, he should be able to save par, no problems. He's up there, but no chance of birdie from where he's at. Collin can see the basket.
Smooth forehand.
With that.
Near tap in.
That's perfect. And I know this disc. That's your Berg X once again. So that means you're close enough to throw a Berg X.
Yeah, this one just flattened out on me, and I get a pretty unfortunate kick.
That was gruesome. That tree had no business doing that to you.
I could not see where that landed from where I was throwing, so I thought that was in bounds pretty solidly.
Nice up shot from Chris. Yeah, it does play uphill at the final chunk of the hole, so you can't always even see where you're ending up. Little pitch up from Tad. So you have a chance to save your par from about just shy of 40 feet probably, with OB right behind the basket.
Get it.
No worries again. That's maybe the putt of the tournament so far.
That was absolutely my best putt so far. Looking right at the water, I gave it a little nose up, and yeah, I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah, you like that.
Collin looking to bounce back after that last miss, and he gets it.
Blame the baskets. Glad that one stayed in.
I'll go.
Tad just tapping in, walking away with a par. Nothing wrong with that. It's a hard hole. And Chris, this should be a birdie unless it pops out on him again. Not this time.
It's a good birdie from Chris.
So
One of
we're back to a...
3 on the round.
Really? I'm curious who the others were. Some of them were probably MA1.
Or 1 of 3 on the MPO field.
Oh, okay. Back to 4-stroke difference. We only have 7 holes left to play. I really like this hole. 8th hardest, playing just over par once again. There's a Mando, so you can't just go hyzer. There's all kinds of trees left. There is OB right that doesn't come into play unless you shank it. So there's kind of a perfect landing zone you want to get to.
I think it's going to be a pretty
I think
good
he's in a
spot.
good spot up there.
That's like short pad.
Again, I blame the camera girl.
Chris going distance driver? That's a little surprising. Would think with his power, you just throw a forehand, or not a forehand, a fairway.
But that's...
But that is money.
That is about the perfect spot. He's almost to the short pad used by the AM divisions. So he'll be able to look right at the basket from there. You're going the forehand play here.
Yeah, I'm going forehand. I just like to play with the hillside a little more, but
Come on out.
just turned it.
Get around that.
Lucky tree
Oh.
kick. Not a great spot. It could be worse.
I would say that was unlucky since it was fading back a little, but it was not a good enough shot to deserve a good result. So
Yeah. This is another hole that's kind of, in the past, gotten you here and there.
Half an inch.
Ted shows me how to do it though.
Any argument for
Like, this is not the first time we have seen you leaning out of woods on this hole.
In between my tactic and yarn right now.
Going tactic.
think I just went yarn. Had a nice log on my back leg.
Oh, you gotta love it. Great footing over here. And that's just a little low for that shot shape.
That was terrible.
What's Tad got here? Looks like he's going some kind of driver.
Yeah, I believe that's his Draco. Seen that a lot today already.
That's a great shot. He'll have a very nice birdie look. Collin's gotten far enough that he can go backhand hyzer if he'd like to. So that was, turns out, a fantastic drive.
That looks like a fantastic shot. If he got the ground play, we'll see.
I think he got a little bit of a skip there. It was hard to tell. Chris. Oh.
Does not like it.
Cleanest look of the card and just throws it right into the tree. He'll have like 40 feet for his birdie. This is you probably pitching up.
Yeah, just pitching up with another K1 yarn here.
It's a fun little ground play, but that's not going to affect the outcome. Now this may be even closer to 50 feet. It's hard to see Chris. He's in camouflage, so what you have to watch for is the disc. And that'll par.
Collin's got kind of a sketchy putt here. It's a decent drop-off behind the basket. And the comebacker would be into a headwind.
No problems. Great putt from Collin. He's now got a 2-stroke lead on Tad momentarily. Tad needs this to stay within 1 of 3rd place. Oh, Taddy boy.
Man, and I'm just not on it today. That was very short miss.
So, unexpectedly, Chris is going to get a stroke back. Not exactly how you want to do it. And now we're once again to a 3-stroke lead. 6 holes to play. 340 foot, hole 13, par 3. You flat out parked this one round 1. This is the 3rd easiest hole, for good reason. It's just a big forehand hyzer or a big backhand hyzer. There's no reason to make it more tricky than that.
Yeah, this was also playing with a helping wind for the most part, I believe. And the OB doesn't really come into play whatsoever, so this is one you want to get.
Yeah, the hardest part about this hole is it's a bit of an optical illusion. If you don't know where the basket is, the sidewalk winds in a way that it makes it look like it's closer than it is. But if you just ignore it, he's going the tight hyzer by that tree.
Go in now. Where'd you take that?
Yeah, this hole definitely played with me first round. I thought I was a good 30 short, and I was under the basket. So.
Collin, he threw it far, but he's going to have a long look. Let's see what Chris has here. He's going a much safer hyzer.
That should birdie from Chris.
Little short, but he's in the circle. Tad going the forehand play. I like this play. Again, all you have to do is put it out flat left, something overstable, and it's going to crash in by the basket.
Yeah, the forehand's a nice play. That tree is much less in play than the backhand, although it shouldn't be in play with the backhand, but
Yeah.
forehand takes it out entirely. I'm going with my yarn once again. Just throwing it 90% or so.
For anyone who hasn't thrown a yarn, this is a dumbly overstable approach disc. And you're just out here bombing them on 350-foot hyzers.
It is a little stupid.
Granted, that is a beat-in K3, but I don't know that makes much of a difference. I do not think I can get a yarn to this hole on pure hyzer. Collin?
Not sure if that was a layup.
We're going to say it was a layup.
We're going to say it was a layup.
Collin, we got your back, buddy. Tad gives it a bid. That'll par. Chris, great look. There we go. So our 2 leaders are looking at birdies.
And that pretty much officially makes it a 2-horse race between me and Chris.
And Collin's only a couple back, but we are running out of holes here. Hole 14, 5th hardest. This is just a long hole. OB right the whole way. And then a fun little peninsula at the end with OB on all sides. All you want to do off the tee is throw far, but unfortunately the wind today started picking up round 2, and it made the drive a lot more difficult than in round 1.
I really enjoy this hole. I like that you can really open it up, but then the upshot is technical from almost no matter where you land.
Oh, a little bit of a slip from Chris, and this is sky high nose up.
Ooh, ooh. Oh, yeah.
Card has a little bit of laugh about it.
Still decently out there, though.
Yeah, the fun thing is there's a tree right in the way that doesn't come into play, but it does force you to choose what angle you're going to throw on. And this is
bad.
That is way out of bounds.
I got a little excited. I wanted to smash one, and I just yanked it.
That is majorly OB.
This is probably the smashiest hole on the course, but it can get you into trouble.
I was looking to go a little bit more the line Collin's throwing here. There's really no reason to push that OB at all. And
His is still low.
A bit up there.
Little cut roll.
It's in the shadow.
That's fine. He's still way up there.
Okay, we'll take that.
yeah, he'll be wide open from there. Can go with almost whatever he wants on the upshot.
I believe this is a Vulcan from Tad. At least that's what he was throwing round one. He's going the intentional, unintentional roller. And this is just going the wrong way the whole time. Worried that Adrian would be lonely over there.
I appreciate it. That's a pretty sketchy play with the wind. Rollers are very exposed.
Yeah. It's a fair weather play. And this is a smash from how far back Chris was to have probably a 40-foot putt. Like, he probably threw that at least 400. Tad trying to see what he can do from over here. He does have a very solid forehand game.
Back to that Scorpius.
I imagine he's got at least 350 to the basket. And again, this hole tightens up at the end. So your second shot has to be accurate. This is looking good. And unfortunately, basically skips right on the sidewalk and stays on the sidewalk.
I'm looking to get up and down here. Going with a nice hyzer. And that leaves me a short upshot. I would like to say, I did not go grab my destroyer out in the field on the right. So if you were in that AM card that was walking and you picked up my destroyer, I would still like it back.
No, that's just a mistake out of Collin. Just way too straight. I had no idea you lost that one.
Wouldn't say I lost it, more just never thought about it again, but...
Goodness. Well, I mean, you'd think somebody would have turned it in. Oh, great bid. Trying to save something. And Collin is looking at probably a bogey.
Chris with the only birdie look on the card to get at least one stroke on me.
Just leaving these jump putts low all day. Adrian, for par. This would be a great par save. Perfect.
Get it. Very nice to get up and down there. I got to give a quick shout out to Ryan Stilson getting the eagle on this hole. Threw in from probably at least 350.
Yeah.
That's
maybe the craziest thing I heard. When I saw it on the scorecard, I started messaging him immediately. I was like, what happened? Is this a mistake? Was this the wrong hole? No, absolutely. He just threw a driver, I think, from way back there.
That's about as sick of a two as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely. I have never heard of anyone anywhere close to 2. As we head to hole 15. 9th easiest, arguably the 10th hardest, just under par. This is another hole where the tricky thing is there's OB by the basket. More of a mental game than a physical game because you can just pump a forehand out there left and you'll have a birdie look. You can go the backhand as Chris is doing. It just brings in a ton more danger. Chris doesn't care. That's more or less par.
Prophecy?
Yeah, that backhand line is a little sketchy. Any kick and you're likely to go OB.
You could argue the benefit is you're fading away from the out of bounds as long as you miss the trees. Whereas the forehand, you are fading directly towards it, but there's so much airspace.
I'm surprised this hole played as hard as it did. I see this as a pretty wide open forehand. I put it nice and close.
It does play a touch uphill, so the distance is a little hard to gauge.
Collin going with another Firebird. Believe it's Haley King. That's solid.
But again, he's going to find himself with the comebacker right at the out of bounds. That's that orange disc Tad's been throwing a ton. Almost hits the electrical box, but that sets up nicely for a birdie look. So we have Collin as the farthest one out, and he's maybe circles the edge at the most.
See if Collin can stick one. He's been a little off lately.
If he sinks this, it makes third place look really good. Oh, dear. I mean, once again, he's still going to be by the basket. That's
unfortunate.
That's a savable bogey, but you don't want a bogey on this hole. So that explains kind of the difficulty, why this hole's playing closer to par. As Tad takes the easy bird. How close are you to this box? Is that in your swing at all?
I don't remember thinking about it also.
Well, so it must not have mattered.
And I'm glad to get that one both rounds. It's not necessarily a must get, but it's pretty close.
Now, there's a handful of holes on this course that you just want to get them. Like, they're right in front of you. You know what you have to do. The only way to not get them is if you goof up. Unfortunately for Collin, his goof up was on the putt. He's walking away with the bogey, and him and Tad are tied at 7. Hole 16. This is the #1 hardest hole on the course, averaging 0.62 strokes over par for the MPO and MA1 fields. Par 4, 650 feet. Goes downhill, then back uphill. OB left, OB right, trees all over the place, and there's just a very specific tunnel you have to hit off the tee. And Chris has smashed it. Can't really see where this ends up. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's down there. It's way down there.
And I am going for this right gap and get the left one. And this tee shot was just a little scary for me both rounds for whatever reason. I mean, hardest hole in the course, and I'm just glad I am able to put it in bounds.
Yeah. There's just a lot of bad that can happen. We've seen a lot of bad happen.
Hold on.
Tad, just going a little turnover. That should be okay.
Right.
What's Collin reaching for here?
Blue halo, looks like.
That's a little high.
Oh, sick. Okay. Good double tap. It's good double tap.
Got out the gap.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
And that should be far enough down there. There's still a long way to go from where he is. Going huge hyzer out on the right side. Doesn't want anything to do with that sidewalk left. And he's up there, not really birdie territory, but it should par.
This hole was playing in a big right to left. Probably the windiest hole on the course, being right next to the road. And it's scary pushing everything towards that left side sidewalk.
Yeah, the safer you play it, the less likely you're going to get the birdie. But as we've seen, people take big numbers on this hole. Looks like you're just going to go hyzer. What are you throwing here?
I'm throwing a Firebird. It's down there.
Yeah.
That was pretty far to get to the pin for birdie, so.
Chris, this is possibly the best drive I have seen on this hole. Looking at the basket, forehand up shot. He ripped that hard. I think he's got a birdie look just long of the basket.
Collin, parked for par.
See if Tad can give this a bit of a bid. And I don't know what happened there. That's not usually something you see out of him. That's turned over. Way tougher par look than you want.
Maybe he was trying to give it. He was listening to the commentators, trying to give it a bid.
Yeah. We wanted it for him.
Up against the fence. That is unfortunate.
Nothing doing. That'll be a bogey.
Looks like with Collin going first, Chris must be
He's got
pretty parked.
That's an amazing shot. One of the only birdies you're going to see on here.
Good birdie, Chris.
Yeah, that was the only birdie on not just the round for the. That was for both rounds for the whole event. I believe that was the only birdie.
Yeah, it is a hard hole. And then right after, we step up to the fourth easiest hole, hole 17, 250. Kind of a forehand, but honestly, it's kind of a straight at it. Sidewalk OB behind it, so once again, it's a speed and angle control hole. Should be accessible for basically any skill level. But I like this play. The forehand you can just put out left, let it dunk.
That's a nice look for birdie from Chris. I went Bergex here first round and landed kind of laughably short.
Yeah.
So stepping up to a yarn and just ripping on it.
Looks maybe a little early, but that's nice and flattened out.
Yeah, but I trusted the wind to turn it a little bit. That's just a short look.
Yeah, you're just outside of where Chris is, I'm pretty sure. So that's a birdie look. Another halo disc.
Smooth for him.
Nice little skip. And he keeps finding himself nearly circle's edge. Yeah, I can't help but wonder if you put a few of those a little closer, if maybe you could have a little bit more confident putting day. When you're trying to hit 30-footers every hole, it can just start to drain on you. There's that Draco again, I think. Almost dunks it if it were a little longer, but Tad is parked.
Nobody outside of 25 for the card.
That's a great putt for Collin after some of his struggles today. Looks like about the same distance for Tad, but you're going to go first. That's a birdie. Could we be looking at a star bird? Come on, Tad. Ooh, a little elevator action, but that's good enough. All we need is Chris to tap in, and we will have an actual legitimate star birdie on the card. No problem. And just like that, we are heading to the final hole, hole 18, par 4, 400 feet. The third hardest hole on the course, playing a half a stroke over par. For the third place battle, Collin and Tad are within a stroke. For the victory, you and Chris are only 2 strokes apart, and 2 strokes can happen on this hole. Are you worried?
I'm a little worried. This tee shot is pretty scary. Big right to left again, pushing you towards the OB.
Nice smash out of Chris, but he's going to be kind of over there on the right side, which limits your options. So this is a pretty important shot.
Yeah, I'm just looking to put this one flat and let the hillside give it some turn. Looks like I let the hillside give it a little too much.
Heading right at Ripley. That'll be in bounds, but considering how far down you can get, you definitely didn't get as much distance as what you wanted.
I kind of wish Collin went with a forehand to drag it way over to the left. And
I love the forehand play. It's dangerous, but you can get some cheater distance. But he's doing okay. He's pretty far down. Nice little roll. Tad also I could almost see going the forehand play, but he's going the backhand. This looks nice. Nice and safe. Flat. That'll hyzer out.
Pretty close. Okay.
So you can see you've got a ways to go. That is smashed. It's heading in the right direction. You can't see it on the camera, but that just barely lands in the sand trap.
Yeah, it took a skip off the golf green and squeaked in the very last bit of movement it had. But I have a look for par from about 40 or so.
Tad catches some tree.
You could have made the golf green OB. It is.
Chris with a wide open hyzer.
This is looking pretty good. And he is just long of the basket, maybe right around circle's edge. So he's got a birdie look. You've got a par look from probably right outside the circle. Ooh, what a shot from Collin. Looks like Tad's going to go first. Tad also somehow ended up OB.
Yeah, unfortunate air ball. Me and Chris were pretty close in distance, but it was me first by a foot or so. So this is for the win, essentially. Not essentially, just flat out.
Yeah, absolutely. For the win. If you make this, you win outright. If you miss and Chris makes it, we're looking at a playoff.
I'd be excited to see that.
Oh, I love a good playoff. It's up. It's out. That's probably the third just flat-out splash out we've seen on these baskets. So now Chris has this chance. If he makes this, it's anybody's ball game.
He's looking right into the headwind. This is a really tough putt. Just left side.
Another splash out. Just like that. We're going to see these guys hopefully tapping out. Collin, is he going to sink the birdie? Save the whole card? Let's go. That'll be good enough to give Collin the outright third place. Tad is actually going to drop to fifth. He's been bested by Evan Bester, who's going to climb all the way to fourth. A little bit of shenanigans on the card. The vibes were good on the card the whole day. Everyone was having a good time. As Chris taps out his par. And we're going to see Adrian Chevalier,
Now y'all got to
the
go.
2023 Highland Open champion. Adrian, you got any last words today?
This was my last tournament of the 2023 season, and I just was very happy to be able to play smooth all day. That's really what I wanted to do, just come out, play my game over anything else, and thankfully it worked its way to a W.
Awesome. Well, we're going to let this roll, watch some awards ceremony coverage. Adrian, I thank you for coming in and doing commentary with us. Good luck on your 24 season. And as always, stay spicy.
MA3 shooting a score of +4. Dan Powell. MA2 shooting 11 under. Derek Thompson.
Move on! Move on! First 1,000.
Saw that. Your MA40 winner shooting +3 in a tough fought battle. Donnie Hitton. Yeah. Good shoot. Hopefully you guys had a good time. MA1 with a
a score of 5 under par overall from the long pads, Elliott Butler. We'll come back to this.
We'll do that announcement again down there. If he's just as excited as second round.
Should I say it again, like a lot louder?
Get out of the way. My bad.
It's just too slow. I don't want to say the MPO before he comes here. That's true. Elliott Butler. All right. And your 2023 Highland Open champion taking home the golden frisbee, dude. Yay.
Thank you, best class and degenerate dice. But biggest thanks to Robert for running it all.
Thank you, Robert. Great job.
Power Grip is the premier disc golf shop in Central Illinois. With 5 stores in Finland, we're the #1 disc golf shop in all of Europe, and this is our first shop in the United States. With thousands of discs from over 20 brands, we certainly have something for you. If you're just getting started or you're an experienced disc golfer, we're here to help. Visit us today in Bloomington or shop online with free local pickup at powergripusa.com.